Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, want to go ahead and get a few things out of the way before we start today's video. If the gameplay looks a bit crap in terms of like the graphics and stuff, that's because I was turning my settings down in Sandstorm. I was originally going to be doing a video on the previous update and how you could turn up and down settings, but instead of doing that, they put this update out today, so I wanted to go ahead and cover this first. We have a new release date for Insurgency Sandstorm. Basically, the game has been delayed until December the 12th. Now, don't worry too much because the pre-order beta will actually continue until the release of the game, so if you currently have Sandstorm installed and you've been playing it, you'll still be able to keep playing that beta, so you can still provide feedback to the developers, you can still get some epic gameplay clips and make montages, you can do whatever you want to do. It's still your game, don't worry. New World Interactive actually go on in this post to say, "This is one of the hardest decisions our team has ever had to make and not one taken lightly. However, we feel it is in the best interest of the game and our community to spend more time working to ensure that they develop a better possible experience." And I pretty much completely agree with them on that. I really do think that this game needs a little bit more work done to it. I was thinking that the game was in a much better place now than it ever has been, and if they were to release in a few days from now, I think everything would have been okay. However, there were definitely a lot of issues still with the game. In the update, they actually say, "Despite the game's improvements, we are acutely aware that not all of you are having an ideal experience that they want to deliver. By extending the beta and moving the launch date back to December, the additional time will allow them to make significant improvements to the game with continued input from us, the community. The additional time will allow them to target a lower minimum system requirement, address many more bugs, and work on overall polish, gather additional feedback from the community, and refine the gameplay, and then also ensure that highly requested community features, which may have otherwise have been added post-launch, will be ready for day one, such as community servers and custom games." They actually go to list a whole lot of different things that this extra time will allow them to do, so let's go ahead and cover some of those. Alright, so they're going to upgrade the engine to Unreal Engine version 4.20 and continue optimizations. They're going to improve the character models, textures, and animations in the game. They're going to improve the scoped experience for both the high and low scope quality settings, which I think is a really good move because the low quality scopes were better, but the game still had weird, like slight fidgety moments with them in terms of the frame rates, and they looked not super great. They're improving the level visuals, the gameplay, and optimization. They're going to add more cosmetic item variations and a new forearm tattoo cosmetic type, which can also be seen in first person, so that's pretty neat. They're expanding in-game server options to include a server browser, community-run server support, and custom games like we discussed. And they also say that they will refine the game to the point where it has far less bugs, glitches, and visual inconsistencies and other issues. And along with this, the 10% off of the pre-order beta discount will continue to go on, as well as the additional 10% loyalty discount. So all the way up until the December 12th release, you can still get all of the discounts on the game. And I believe this means that you can still refund the game. So essentially, all the way up until the 11th of December, you can play this game for as much as you want to. And if you still don't enjoy it, you can actually refund it. And then on the 12th, maybe see what people are saying about it and then buy it again if it seems like a lot of your issues have been fixed. So in my opinion, this is a win-win for both the developers of Sandstorm as well as the community who really do care about the future of the game. A lot of people are criticizing this game, and for understandable causes and reasons. Optimization isn't all there, everything else isn't, working as intended sometimes. There's also issues with the cosmetics and everything, and I just understand that, they need more time. I was saying that since the beginning. I made a whole, parody thing about putting the game disc of Insurgency in the oven. The game needed more time in the oven, and this is them finally acknowledging that, and I believe they've made the right decision. I'm sure you're going to get people out there who are going to be roasting them for this, but honestly, I always respect transparency from video game developers. It's really, I believe in their best interests to be transparent with their communities, and we've seen so many other game developers just not be recently, and they just try to exploit their fan base for cash and money and everything. And I think New World Interactive are one of the few developers out there who really do genuinely care about the quality of the game that they're putting out. And not just the quality, but the longevity, right? They're not thinking about like, oh, how can we monetize this game to the next level? They're thinking like, how do we keep people playing this in 10 years just to have like a fun game? And you can see that even with the first Insurgency. It's still very playable to this day. It's a very fun game. It's well optimized for the most part. It has some issues, but at least on my rigs it did. But then again, you can play that game on like a toaster. So point is, New World Interactive, I think they know what they're doing. I think this time is going to help them immensely. I mean, if you think about it, December, that's another month longer than even the Battlefield 5 developers are willing to spend fixing their games. So in a way, I really do like commend New World Interactive for pushing it back that far. Now, the good news is it's still this year, so you don't have too much longer to wait, and this whole time you wait, you get to play the game, so it's not like a huge problem, and who's to say they won't actually be updating this beta as we go along. Now, I don't know for a fact if they will or not, but if they do, that'd be really cool to see some new maps or some hotfixes along the way just to give us something, you know, just give us something to keep playing and keep coming back until the full release. But I'd be very curious to hear what you guys have to say on this in the comments below. I'll be sure to read all of those. And before we leave, I'd like to give a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. We've got Brodo Fatskins, Jonathan, and Rickamaru LDR. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. And if you're interested in more Insurgency Sandstorm news, information, and gameplay, please feel free to stay subscribed to the channel, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. Alright guys, I'll see you out there in the field. Stay frosty out there.